Good morning, everyone. We are live. It says we're live. I hope we are because now it's telling me I'm having technical difficulties.
Good morning, everyone. It looks like we are live on my end.
Awesome. So, my name is Hannah Olivas. I am one of the co creators and co founders of She Rises Studios. I am a public speaker and I like to consider myself an inspiration to women. Everybody lately has been asking me what I do. And truth be told, I write, I speak. I would have to say my ultimate favorite thing that I do inside of She Rises is create. I love doing public relations work and marketing. So those are my hats. I'm here today with Michelle Klein from Klein Hospitality. She is a leadership coach and mentor. And we are here for another fabulous episode of Unleashing the Female Entrepreneur Within. Without further ado, I'm going to let Michelle just kick it off and take it away. So, welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Thank you, Hannah. Happy first day. It is a cold and windy Thursday in Las Vegas. So my allergies are kicking in like a ninja. And you're going to probably hear that on my nasally voice. We have a super interesting topic today. We wanted to think through what are some of those challenges that we have ahead of us as business women, whether it is that you're an entrepreneur, whether it is that you have your career working for someone else. Regardless, there are always challenges, but there's challenges that are particularly geared towards women in a way. So I know, Hannah, that we have both thought of, if there's so many, but if you could think of perhaps one that we could talk about today, what would you like to highlight?
I would say something that I've noticed for me in terms of a challenge or just something that happens or has occurred over the years would be the not being taken seriously as a woman entrepreneur or being told that we're too emotional. I think that that is something that I have had to hear and face, like when I step into a room, especially full of men. And this is not a men bashing session, by the way. This is just from the female perspective. And I always want to say that at the beginning of every live that we have incredible men in our lives who support us, encourage us. I know I do. I know Michelle does. We're married happily. So I want to I want to create that space that this is not designed to bash men. But when you're in the entrepreneurial world and you are faced with a room full of men and you walk in, there's kind of sometimes this tone that I've come into and them thinking that I'm not equipped. The first question I'm asked is, do I have kids? Will my kids deter my focus? So some of those things are challenges that I've had to face over the years. But, we'll talk about how we overcome those challenges here in a minute. But I would say definitely those two, not being taken seriously and just, the tone that's set in the room already. Less pay. That's another one for me.
So, Hannah, do you think those are related to each other? Do you think the fact that you are not being taken seriously and then the tone are two things that are perhaps related to each other?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. Because it's the tone has already been set by those who I'm getting ready to work with. I do think they're related. But I think what makes it easy to deal with is I'm one of those that when I face a challenge, I say challenge accepted. So if they are related, I would say you're probably better at picking apart as to why they are. And I know that's why you asked me the question. So I'm going to bounce it back to you. But yes, 100% they're related.
That's great. I think it's most important. Well, one of the things that you said is, challenge accepted. And I think that there is a specific quality in women that are successful because they don't take the challenge as boohoo for me, or I'm walking into this room and I feel like I'm not appreciated, or they don't think that I have value that I can add to the table. But the fact that you say challenge accepted, I see that as a quality that I where I see a pattern across the board when it comes to successful women, because you're able to overcome that. And instead
Mhm.
of seeing it as something negative, you see it as an opportunity to push yourself to the next level, to prove to people that you don't know
Yes.
who you're talking to. I actually know what I am here to propose, or I know what I'm here to add to the organization or the project or whatever it is that is in front of you. So it's very interesting. Is there any other way that you can think of where maybe you can recommend others? Perhaps is the way you deal with it, besides the fact that you say challenge accepted, watch me, hold my beer. So what other tips do you have that you think could be valuable to anyone who walks into a room and it's not being heard, or who's sitting at an interview and is being asked, you can't ask nowadays, do you have kids? But there are different ways where interviewers can get that information out of you. So
Oh,
how do you overcome that?
you control the narrative. When you walk in the room, you take control of the narrative. If it even from introduction and saying, my name is Hannah Olivas. I'm the co-creator of She Rises Studios. I'm a mother of 5. I'm happily married. I wear many hats. But all in all, my business is, and it's my passion, and this is what I do. And if you control the narrative, then that diminishes some of those things that are in their mind thinking, can this woman handle the project that she's pitching for? Can she? And the answer is absolutely. So if you control the narrative from the very beginning, that's the hardest part right there. Do not walk in the room, do not walk into business doubting yourself and not having control of your own narrative. So that's my mic drop.
That is so fantastic. Such an important tip, Hannah. Thank you for mentioning that. And ways where we can be or feel prepared to be able to control that narrative is, for example, creating bullet points. What is it that I want to get my point across during this specific meeting? So you
Mm.
create the bullet points that make sense to you, that are things that if you only had 30 seconds to get your point across, to set the tone, to control that narrative, what it is that I need to say. What are the key important elements that I can bring to this meeting so that when I walk away, I don't feel like I wasn't given the opportunity.
Right.
Right? So that's great. So let me share with you what I think is one of those challenges that women face when it comes to business. Again, whether it is that you're the business owner, you're an entrepreneur, whether it is that you work for someone, there is something very specific where women are very different than most women, are
Mm-hmm.
very different than most men when it comes to negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
There are specific things that we were told as we were little, like for
Mm-hmm.
example, share your toys, right?
Mm. Yes.
Little boys are typically going to play a specific sport at the park when they ran into other little boys, and they will all chase a ball, or they will all fight for the ball. Little girls will sit down quietly and nicely, and if you have 2 little ponies, so you have 2 Barbie dolls, you have to share one with that other little
Uh-huh.
girl. So I think that a lot of that we have as parents have changed when it comes to our kids when they play at the park, but how much of that we carry from our own childhood. So when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
negotiating, we were wired in a way where we have to find the balance. We have to be the ones who perhaps settle. So, how do we deal with that in a way where it's going to end up being a win win, right? as opposed
Mm,
to you,
mhm.
the woman always being the one who doesn't have perhaps or perhaps is more accommodative when it comes to coming up with that win-win situation, and it doesn't you don't make it a win-lose or a lose-win. The other thing is, I feel that women in general, in working for so many years with women, what I see is women in general are way better advocates for others than they are for
Mm,
themselves.
very true.
Even though, right? And here's the thing. Think about how many times you have met with a friend
Mhm.
and your friend downloads what they think is their, going on with something specific, and you are the one who steps up and says yes, but you're forgetting that you've done this, and you're forgetting that you've done this, and you're forgetting that you got rewarded for this, and you got, whatever that is. So why don't we do that with ourselves? So
Mhm.
the same way that you're going to prepare your bullet points before a meeting, when it comes to advocating for yourself, make a list of what are those amazing accomplishments that you have done in your past or in your life, so that you
Right.
can remember what your value looks like and you can better advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
We all know that negotiations are critical when it comes to coming up with better pricing from our vendors. It's critical when it comes to um, perhaps having a conversation with your HR department and choosing between two candidates, right? You're the
Yes.
hiring manager and you have to sit in front of HR and say, this is
Yes.
why I would prefer this person as opposed to this other person. And HR is going to say no because of this, and this. You have to be prepared. So everything in life is a negotiation, from whatever happens at home with our kids to any conversation that we have with anyone around our business. So being able to better advocate for ourselves is
Mhm.
extremely important and critical when it comes to your strengthening your negotiation skills. What do you think about that, Hannah?
I 100% agree. Number one, when even before you start the negotiation, you really do, it goes back to what I said, you do need to control your own narrative. But you also have to have the mindset of going into whatever you're walking into. You need to have the mindset that, hey, I can do this. It's all perspective. I've been doing a workshop this whole week talking about perspective on how we see ourselves, perspective on how other people see us, and it really is just that. If you walk into a room full of accomplished men and women, and you have this incredible business plan and this incredible thing that you want to present to them, you want them to become your client, how do you negotiate? How do you do that? And it all starts with that mindset. Like you talked about having bullet points, I talk about controlling the narrative, showing the skill set that we have, showing that we are capable. But it all in all starts with your own mindset, because when you don't know what you're going to walk into when you're doing these business deals. We really don't. A lot of times we haven't met the person, we've met them through emails, so we have no idea what to expect. So you have to go in prepared. That's part of negotiation, is just being prepared, doing the research, doing the due diligence that it requires for you to get to know that client. So when you walk in there and that narrative that you're controlling is correct, because you don't want to have the wrong information and go in there, guns blazing, and they say like, what are you talking about? And that has happened to me personally. We all make mistakes, so you also have to give yourself some leeway to knowing that it is progress, it's not perfection. Entrepreneurs make progress every single day. Women entrepreneurs make progress every single day. So it's a combination of all those things, but 100% your negotiation skills need to be on what everybody says, what fleek, because it's important. And how do you do that? You control your narrative, you do your due diligence, you have your bullet points, and you go in there knowing that you are this unstoppable woman who can conquer any challenge that you're about to face. So that's what I think. That's what I
That is
do.
fantastic. Phenomenal advice.
Thank you.
Super. Is there anything else you want to add?
I just say every single day being an entrepreneur is different. I don't believe that any one day is the same. I think we all have so much to look forward to and the amazement side of it, but we also have so much to look forward to in terms of changes. We're always evolving in the entrepreneurial world, especially right now. Our whole entire world is kind of in this shift. So we have to be prepared. And how do you prepare? How do you do that? How do you prepare for the changes that are coming, the technology changes? You got to keep up, right? You have to do your due diligence. You have to focus, and it just all goes together. um, we're not doing these lives Tuesdays and Thursdays to make it sound like this is easy, because it is not. But being a female entrepreneur is one of the most rewarding things that I have ever encountered in life, besides being a mother, besides being a wife, and all the other things. Being a female entrepreneur and being able to step into my own power and create my own space has been phenomenal, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
That's great. And how important is it to stay current, right? To stay current in your industry, to stay current from the perspective of allowing people to know who you are and what you're doing. Even if you're working on a specific program that you're going to roll out, stay current. Let not only work on the trends and what is important that people out there need from you, but
Mhm.
also on being out there so that they know what's happening, what's coming, and do your research and do self development. All those things are the things that are going to prepare you for those constant changes, which we all know that change is the only constant in life. So you will feel always more prepared when you do those things, when you stay current, when you work on self development, when you do your research, when you do your due diligence. This is
I
fantastic.
agree. I agree. We also, right now we're even learning how a lot of us are still working from home. A lot of us have not gone back into office space. And so that's a whole new keeping current, keeping up. That's a challenge in itself. People are hosting boardroom meetings on Zoom, on Google Meet, and whatever other platforms. And so you're not even getting that typical connection that you would get into walking into a room. And we're going to talk about that. We actually are going to talk about that in one of our episodes. How do you face those types of challenges? How do you keep that connection solid when we're not sitting across from each other in person, but we're sitting across from each other in a video? That's a struggle in itself. How do you make your point come across as strong as you would in person? And actually, you and I and Adriana have something coming up like that this month, where we're going to be delivering something incredible. I want to spill the beans so bad, but nobody gave me permission yet. But we are going to face that challenge to thousands of people, right? So, what do we have to do to prepare for that monumental moment? I think that's what we're going to talk about next week, is that
Sounds good.
connection. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
and how so many people communicate, and we've focused so many years on learning how to communicate, or we continue to focus on learning how to communicate. But what about taking it an extra step and learning how to connect? I
Yes.
have a program that involves that specifically, learning how to communicate, but also how do you take it to the next level and connect. So very interesting topic, one topic that I'm a total geek about, and I'm excited. Hannah, are there any comments on the chat that we need to address?
I want to tell you, yes, there are, but I can't see them. There's something technical that happened today on my side. So we'll have to go in and read them and see and answer later. But I do want to say this for those of you who watch us every Tuesday and Thursday live at 8:30, please feel free to leave a comment, engage, or message us. We are happy to answer any questions. If you are looking for coaching, of course, you can reach out to Michelle or to the She Rises Studios. Our whole point in doing this is to build a space for women to come in and learn, and also to create with us. And so how does that happen? It happens by engaging in what we're sharing. If there's a topic that you want us to discuss, send us an email, send us a message, comment below. You can find us anywhere on social media at this point. So that's what I would say. I unfortunately can't see too much today. I'm sorry. And we also have another series coming up that I want to share with you on Wednesdays. She Rises will be discussing Wednesdays, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, with the co-creator of Ask Us Beauty magazine. Her and I will be discussing She Rises Beauty. So we're about to cover all the spectrums of what women do, look for, and love in life. So if there's something you want us to talk about, share it, comment, engage. We can do some Q&As on these lives. I know Michelle loves Q&A. So just keep showing up, keep being a part of these lives with us. Leave us a review. You can leave us a review on our pages. But yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff in the works. I'm excited.
It's free mentorship, ladies.
Yeah.
So let's make it count. Thank you so much, Hannah, for being here today, for having me here today. This is awesome. And like Hannah said, if there's anything specific you want us to touch upon, please let us know, and then we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. So go out and unleash your female entrepreneur within. If you haven't done it yet, today is that day. So have an amazing Thursday. I will be here live tomorrow, Friday, 9 a.m. with Alicia Marcos Barong. We're going to talk about positive affirmations and the chatter in our head. And
Love that.
so we have so much happening on the She Rises platform. I don't even know where to start. So go to our events page, go inside our She Rises community Facebook group, get caught up. If you have an event coming up and you want to share it, please post it in our community and go rock today. Go out there and be that shining superstar that we all know you are. And happy Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.